I was telling the stories about getting served underage alcohol at his funeral, and his mum gave me a look like for a moment, and I thought, all right, love. A, he was 36 now. Well, would have been. And B, he said, don't worry about it. You can't tell him off.
I'm going to need some coffee.
Getting served underage alcohol at his funeral, and his mum gave me a look like for a moment, and I thought, all right, love.
I'm alive. Hello. Welcome to the Ideal Home Show.
Hello! Sorry, got overexcited.
Episode 171. As promised, we have an absolute belter of a show tonight. In fact, you can just reel off a little list. No Troll of the Week. No Travava. No Shredder. What other features have we had?
We've got stuff.
We have got some real stuff, some proper actual stuff, and some things.
What have we not got
things.
though? That's a good point.
We've got brand new RTA chat.
Oh, we're not doing what's in Craig's drawers.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We're not doing much showcase either.
We kind of are. We kind of are.
Are we?
You're showing off your mod. No, you're showing off two. You're showing off Moxons, aren't you?
Oh no, that was me. I don't know.
All right, fair enough. Well, we've got two very nice mods to show you. We've got new RTA to talk about. We've got world vaping news, focusing heavily on America. It's been a very interesting week in American vape politics, and things along those lines. We're going to have a blether as well, as the great man in the shed would say.
Yeah.
So let's crack on, John.
Oh, I'm never first.
Well, your internet's working, so let's do it.
Okay.
What are you drinking, and what are you vaping, my friend?
Oh, thank you, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I am vaping a proper job Cornish IPA. Vaping? Yeah, drinking it. I think. Yes, proper job. I really like it. It's £4 for £6 at Tesco's, which just seems a bargain to me. I already had 2 ghost ships before I started, but those were just testers. Now on to the proper job. It's very good.
Proper job, eh?
Really like that. We were talking before the show, me and Rick, about Cornish ales, and we both agreed that Sharps is piss.
I didn't actually strictly agree. I don't mind a Doom Bar on draft.
You're a nutter. It tastes awful.
I don't mind Doom Bar on draft.
It's almost like a half between bitter and lager. So it's cold when it comes out, and it
really reminds me of John Smith's.
Both of you are just plain wrong.
I don't like it in bottles.
Are you with me, Brad?
I'm with you, 100%, John.
I don't think it's anything special. Don't get me wrong, but it's all right on draft.
I'd rather drink Corona.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'd rather have a beer that requires fruit.
Yeah, exactly.
Than fucking drink Doom Bar. It smells as bad as it tastes as well. You go, oh fuck, it's horrible. Doom Bar. Anyway, Sharp. So it's generally shit. What am I vaping on? Oh, I got a new one, haven't I? I got a new one. Oh fuck me! I have to do the thing where I look at it again.
You slag off a beer every week, you John.
Sorry,
I'm going to add it to the list.
What beer does John fucking hate? Convergent. I have a Convergent, which was
you got one?
Yeah, which was bought on. It's murdered out because I thought it looked quite good. I got a Chris Bar. I got a Chris Munn bell cap. I got a black cap. I got a silver cap. Yeah, it's pretty good. I got it all from the iOS classified page.
Great page.
Great page. So the idea.
What airflow ring did you put on it, John?
I've got the tighter one.
Oh yeah, I think I've got one with 5 holes on each side.
Yeah, that's the more airflow one.
Oh yeah, I've got the one with 7.
I'm on the 7 as well.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So I've got that. Oh, that was quite good.
Mm.
And in that,
Are you enjoying it?
I am. I need to work a little bit on the build. At the moment, I've got a spaced. Oh, well, I tell you what, I am getting some wire soon from atiwire.co.uk.
Yeah.
Or.com.
Or.com. And then I'm going to rebuild it because at the moment I've got some Clapton. I've got some 24 gauge, 32 gauge, 24 and 32 gauge Claptoned.
Not good. No, that's not right.
Yeah.
Not thin enough the outside on that.
Yeah. So I'm struggling with it.
All
You want-
atomizers taste like utter shit until you put atiwire.com inside.
That's true.
That's just the way it is.
That's true. But anyway, it doesn't taste like shit at the moment. It tastes like Panda Bomb Little Cracker. We've got a Panda Bomb Little Cracker and a Panda Bomb Bang Bang to give away on the show later on. I'll think of something to do to give it away. And you can only win if you watch right now.
Hey.
Well, not right now, when I do it.
Yeah,
I'll
so
show
you
you what to use to build in that Atty, John.
You know, yeah, it'd be wicked. I do need a little bit of something.
Funny, it's simple. 26 gauge core fused Claptons, 5 wraps around 2.5. Don't
Send it.
bother going for 3. Go 2.5 because it's too close.
Get it in the post, and
Get it
then
in
I
the
will
post.
build it. I'll build it. It'll be awesome. So I've got, I have currently got Little Cracker, which is like a fruity. It's a fruit. It just tastes fruity to me. It would taste exactly like if you could get a Fruits of the Forest Cornetto. That's what it tastes like to me. It's nice.
It does.
I've got some nicotine still in the freezer here at home. So I topped it up to 12 milligram rather than 3.
Salt or free
Oh,
bake.
regular free base. I just keep it in the freezer. My wife really loves that. I keep.
It feels like you're in a position where you might not have to do that.
I haven't got a freezer at work.
Right. You've got access to quite a lot of nicotine, though.
Yeah, but it's all 15 and 20. That's 70,
Oh, okay. Fair play.
yeah, that's 72 milligram. And it's in the top of the freezer in little brown. It's there fine. It's in a freezer pack. It's only for rum's sake I get in trouble.
I do that with blood.
You never know when you're going to run out. You
It's
just
not
don't.
my blood.
I was going to say it's not Richard.
Oh.
You do look like you haven't seen the sun in a while.
Next up, I have an EVL Reaper V3 in the big mode on top of the Pico 21700, and I've got the mouth to lung post in and the mouth to lung ring on, and I've got a lemon crack 45 milligram inside. Do we know how quiet this is? It's quiet.
The conversion is amazingly
Yeah,
quiet.
it's smooth. It's smooth, isn't it?
It's so quiet. It's weird. It's almost like you're not getting having a vapor.
Well, that's loud for me because I use such like tiny, minuscule airflow. But it's not loud. I know it's not. It doesn't annoy me. It's not all baffled.
No.
Saying that, Rick, you've not been on the show for a couple of weeks.
1 week.
A week. All right. What were you vaping and what were you drinking?
I am vaping on also a Convergent with a slightly wider draw than you've got, I think,
Mm-hmm.
on my Chris Scott Mods KO.
Sexy.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
in that, I'm vaping on a forbidden to say tobacco flavour juice. I can't say.
Rick's doing
You're embargoed.
Rick's doing some testing for Just Adnick, and so I just want to
forbidden to say, rather nice. If you like tobacco, this would be, you'd like it.
It's coming soon. It's coming soon. It's coming from the States, and it's coming soon.
And I messed like you, John. I did a couple of builds before I found out what works on this. as well.
That's literally all it is. I just need to do.
And it is about just fused Clapton's fine. Just you've got to get that ID smaller and turn the wattage down. I mean, I've got this at 26 watts.
It's a 2.5. I didn't go 3. It's 2.5. So
Yeah,
at least I got that bit right.
So yeah, I'm vaping on that and the Secret Juice, and also I've got a new toy last week that I think it was showcased last week,
It was
wasn't
a little bit. Yeah, we'd love to see it in the flesh, though.
Well, no, I got this from the wonderful Scott Bonner from Turnwood FX.
And that is Akira?
Akira, yes.
And it's a ClickFet?
ClickFet 18650
So lovely.
Gonka custom button. I really like that custom inlay.
On the webcam, it looks so different than the shots.
Yeah, look how shiny it is when you.
No one finished. I mean, Scott, we all know he's obsessed with finishing them.
Yeah, it is perfect. It's lovely. And on that, I am using the Haku Cruiser with a Chris Munoz bell cap. And what have I got? I've got 4-wrap fused Clapton again. That's why I like fused Clapton as well. 4 wraps this time, about 0.28. I don't know what that comes out of wattage, but it's cloudy enough. With 6 milligram blackcurrant juice in there.
Nice.
And that's all I'm vaping on. I'm drinking this evening on Brewdog Elvis juice.
It's my favourite, I think.
It's great. It's strong. It's strong. It
gives you a thick head in the morning.
A little bit if you have too much, but I'm going to have 2 or 3 cans, and it's strong, and it is citrusy very slightly. It's not. Some of these craft beers, they overdo it with the citrus.
Yeah, it's just got a little grapefruit touch.
Just a tiny little
That's definitely
citrus
my favourite brewdog.
nose to it. Yeah, it's my favourite Brewdog beer as well.
Puts hairs on your chest, that one.
Oh, for me, still bald.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it does. Look. Yeah.
They're just me and Brad. I didn't know we were
There were
both.
none there before. There weren't any there earlier.
I'm barren, mate.
Sticks to your ribs.
Right, you need some Elvis juice, Brad. But no, that's what I'm vaping. That's what I'm drinking on. So, Brad,
Yes, darling.
what are you drinking on? What are you vaping on?
Well, I'm drinking leftovers from last week, and there just so happened to be one
Oh,
brush of
dog
it
ear.
left in the fridge.
Lagers.
So
Beers,
That's
not
the
lager.
good shit.
I started the show on 11.3%. It can only go downhill from here.
They taste good though, don't they? They taste good. You just got to
exactly.
sip them. You sip them slowly,
It's
don't
drinking velvet, isn't it?
you? Yeah.
That's a lot nicer way of putting it than what I was going to describe.
I would say it's like
A
drinking.
barrage of angels coming down my throat. But anyway.
This is why the BBC said no to this show.
Probably. You get rid of the racist South African and they'll sign you up straight away. I am
They said it was that or touch kids inappropriately, and then we.
Oh, hey, Brad, I've got some news about. You're meant to be the only South African in the UK.
Yes, yeah, as far as I was aware, I was the only one.
I've got one as a neighbour.
Oh,
My next door
no.
neighbour.
Be very careful, lock your doors.
His name's John. Do you know him?
Probably went to school with him.
That was really well played. It was the
House prices just.
Yeah, exactly. Tunbridge Wells just registered extra high on
You
the
don't want to
county.
come in now, do you?
Nah,
Brad, who's Brad? You know, Brad, the other South African. Right, go on, carry on.
I am vaping on the VG mod, also on a Convergent. There's now 3 out of 4 of us on Convergent, so I think Richard needs to up his game and get a Convergent going.
I'm not Rod Stewart.
With a little whistle tip from...
What did you call it? A whistle tip.
Whistle tip.
I thought you said whistle then. I think you corrected yourself with your weird South
You
African.
did sort of say whistle.
Oh, I really would. There was a really funny thing happened to me today.
Oh, go on.
Oh, this is really, really stupid. Someone kept saying the word miracle to me in a conversation. I'm going to do generic.
Miracle.
I'm going to do no way. I'm going to do like generic foreign speak. I don't mean this, but it was just a lady I was speaking to on the phone. And she said, well, maybe it will work, maybe not. Maybe, we hope for a miracle. What? I don't understand what you mean. Will it work or not? I can't say. No, but right. And what was the next thing you said? Well, maybe You know, we look sometimes for miracles. I don't think you understand what the word fucking miracle means. I was thinking curing lepers. Miracle. Something doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, she doesn't sound
what
confident.
happens
She doesn't sound
is
confident it is going to work if she's looking for a miracle.
And then she said something else. Then she said, I explained, but maybe it's too complicated and you don't understand. I'm like, baby, you don't fucking know what words mean.
See, the thing is, when people are from a
It's difficult, but it's impossible to define. Some words are very difficult to define, and it might have sounded like, if everything goes in our favour, that'll work.
Yeah.
Instead, that comes out as miracle.
well, in South Africa, if everything goes to plan, it is a fucking miracle because you know what? when the post is delivered, it's a miracle because our post office has been on strike since 1994. Anyway, let's try this. Third time lucky, I'm going to get through what I'm vaping here. Started with that. In here, I also have Little Cracker.
Oh, good man.
I'm gonna have to juice it. I'm gonna have to nick this up and have a go at it.
Yeah, I nicked it up quite strong. I think I got it to about 22, 23. Enjoying it in here. I get more berry than graham cracker, but that might be coil setup than anything else.
You're right. It is graham cracker. I was just,
Yeah.
it's raspberry and graham cracker. But I didn't say. I said it tastes to me like
There, isn't it?
cornetto or something like that. Cornetto.
Yeah, I
I
definitely
get
get,
really strong graham cracker more than the raspberry.
yeah. So that's what
Tasting
coils
it.
do. I've got a super simple round wire bowl in there, and I just get loads of fruit.
Muted
Right.
flavour.
A muted graham cracker. And I am still using my phobic with the Narca, which, as you can see, is full of juice.
This looks good.
And in there, I have got. I still positioned the labels. See, I stuck the label on correctly this time, so we can.
You smashed it.
It's from Just Ed Nickdar.
Co.uk.
Is it .uk.com for you?
We own them both, but we only use
.co.uk. And apple and elderflower in that one.
very good.
Right. 18 minutes in, and I'm throwing it back to Richard.
Hello.
Hello, darling.
Okay.
What you vaping? What you drinking? And yeah, that's it. Because I'm not allowed to ask pretty
Up
questions.
to open another Guinness.
Oh, is that the porter?
The fancy Guinness.
This is the extra stout one.
The
They're
export.
all right, these ones. It's Paddy's Day coming up, isn't it?
Fucking. Are they quite fizzy? Those.
Not at all.
No.
No.
Completely flat.
I think that's the one I use to make stew with.
You can. It's they're a little bit richer, the fancier ones.
Yeah, I think I pop that in the old stew with beef. I think. That's good.
You can use the foreign one. You know, the foreign, they do is it the West Indian porter?
Yeah.
That's because that's quite very thick and malty. That works for this stew. Yeah, so there's that. Going to open another Guinness in a second. Vaping on a range of things. I'm going to panda bomb next week properly. I've only had a little try of that. It tasted good though. But I'll give it a proper go next week.
Well, we've even got a discount code coming up as well. Both for everyone to use.
Very nice. So the Profile Unity, the new Watofo RTA, that I'll talk about a little bit more later on. I've got that with some of Mark Todd's Regency. Regency.
Oh, well, it's finished now, then, is it? It's out.
It's kind of out there. I think they're looking at stockists and all that. So, yeah, that's on its way out. And so, yep, got that in there. Trying it out. I've got the blocks squonk pumper squonk thing from Uwell. Enjoying that 15ml capacity. I've got the gear from Dale Walker. and I have got the Preco 1 Plus disposable tank on a kit thing.
Oh, lots of people get very stressed about the disposables. We're going to go into that.
We're going to talk about disposables later on. I'm not as worried about the tanks as I am about what we're going to be talking about coming up. So we're going to talk about that sort of thing later. We're going to say hi to everyone in chat as well. John's in there, Trevor's in there, Andy's in there, Gary's in there,
Gus is in there. I just think
Gus. Is he our favourite Welsh person, Gus?
I think so.
I think he's still our favourite Welsh person.
He's the only vegetarian in Wales.
Chris Bishop is watching, and Chris is Welsh.
Oh, so Gus is our second favourite Welsh.
Second, yeah, because Chris sent us the liquid.
Yeah, we like Chris more than Gus.
Thanks again, Chris.
John's in there, Andy's in there, James is in there, Bob's in there, Slurpy Burpfast is in there as well.
Oh, Slurpy Burpfast.
Slurpy, you ain't seen him for a while.
Good to see you, Slurpy. So everyone's in there. We're gonna crack on. Some people have worried because of my intro that we're not going to be talking about squonking. We are going to be talking about squonking quite a lot. So don't worry about that. We've already shown you some squonkers already, so it's squonking's still a thing, very much a thing. But John, you've got a giveaway.
The giveaway, yeah. I just thought we'd get straight into it. It's going to be this simple. What I'll do is I'll hold something up. Yeah, I'm going to hold something up to the screen. I think my internet's still fine, yes?
I can see you, yeah.
Cool. I'm going to hold something up to the screen in just a second. It's an object, not a personal appendage. And, hold on. I'll tell you, hello. First things first, first things second. Actually, isn't it really?
Why are you flapping? Have you not thought this through?
No. I just wanted to change the order where I'm going to do it, and then I've got to make a thread. So the two flavours that we've been sent by Chris Bishop, but they were sent through Chris Bishop from Panda Bomb, are Panda Bomb Little Cracker and Panda Bomb Bang Bang. Whoever wins this are going to win this. I tell you what, I'll even include the Nick shot. I'll do it from Just Add Nick. So you'll get a Nick shot, whether you want a 20 milligram Nick shot or a 15 milligram, and I'll put it in.
Just give them a 20.
There, I'll give you a 20. They don't mean the same price.
Carry on.
But you enter today, but you don't win. Don't worry, because pandabomb.com are giving the Omies 20% off. Only if you're an Omi. And all you do is type in Omies 20 at checkout, and you'll get 20% off. So that's pandabomb.com. The code is Oscar Hotel Mike Indigo Echo Sierra 20, all one word. Omies 20.
It's a long word.
Omies 20, and you get 20% off. I've just made a thread. Do it right now. This is to do the win. It's not going to be first. I'm just going to let it run till the end of the show, and then I will close the thread. The thread is just called Panda Bomb. I put it on there now. And the thing I'm going to hold up, all you've got to do is type what this is on the thread, and you can win 120 ml of liquid, 260s.
I know what that is.
I know what that is as well.
Type what that is.
Everybody know what that is. Everybody knows what that is, don't they?
Probably, that's part of the thing.
Gus won't have a bloody clue what that is.
That's
are you all right to just tell us about the two flavours that we got, what the profile is?
Okay, so the two flavours that are in the giveaway are Bang Bang, which is banana rum bread. Banana rum bread. Rum banana bread. Yeah, rum banana bread sounds better, but banana rum bread is Bang Bang, and Little Cracker is raspberry graham cracker. So raspberry digestive biscuit.
I'm not used to vaping that cloudy.
And yeah, they're two flavours, and they look. So the pink one, pinkish one here called Little Cracker. That's the one I've vaped. I've touch tested both. I'm currently vaping the Little Cracker, and the Bang Bang tastes fantastic when I tried
they're
it.
pretty solid flavours. They really are.
Yeah. They really do taste like somebody's concentrated on what they're doing. People who don't understand typing light bulb in the comments, it's on the Facebook group.
It's not strictly just a light bulb, though. Haven't they got to say the model number?
No,
No,
just put light bulb into
Come on,
Facebook.
we've got to have the model number too. I know what it is, so they should.
But if you're not sure, www.facebook.com, it's the blue one with the F on it. If you go in there in the search bar at the top, if you type in The Ideal Home Show, you'll find the group. I'll probably let you in. You can join the thread and type in, you've only really got about an hour, and type in what you think I held up, and you can win those things. Typing it in the fucking comments of YouTube doesn't mean shit, because I can't be asked to fight that. Can't be bothered. Yes, that's it. Richard, are you ready to go? I assume that's why I was fluffing for you.
What on earth do you mean? You were above me in the notes.
I know, but I already fluffed it.
Okay, I don't know if this is treading on any news coming up, but the big vape news that made world press this week was Senor Trump. Mr. Trump.
Senor.
President Trump of the Americas. $100 million vape industry tax. Now, he called it a user fee. If we're going down those lines, then the tobacco industry currently pays $5 trillion a year in user fees. But what he means is a tax. And this is from Planet of the Vapes news section. And it says $100 million vape industry tax. US President Trump has announced his intention to place an anti-business tax on the vape industry. Companies would be expected to stump up $100 million a year in user fees that would be used for federal oversight. It forms part of his budget proposal released yesterday.
What do they get in this? What is federal oversight exactly then?
So raise people to look at it.
It's to raise money to tackle the youth vaping epidemic.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this. Yeah,
it was in the news again. It did it again yesterday. They're going to basically the flavour ban looks like it's going to roll out across the country.
But I think the money, I mean, in real life, the money will go into the big pot of American tax money, but money will be allocated to combating youth.
What they'll be able to do is offer the safer alternative of cigarettes to them, cheaper, and maybe able to lower the tax on cigarettes.
Yeah, that's
they can live a longer life. Smoking.
I suppose it will go towards. I mean, it will just go in the pocket of all the people concerned. But I guess that they could say that they're going to raise awareness of anti-vaping things and all that sort of stuff.
The user fee that I don't think is the bigger problem in what he's proposed, but on the back of what he's proposing, it legalizes the taxation within the industry. And we've always been behind a form of taxation to legitimize the industry.
That's not what it is, though, is it?
No, but he is allowing taxing the industry now. Utah announced just afterwards they proposed an 86% tax on vaping products.
Yeah, I think this is the problem. I think we've always said we're not massively against a tax being applied to vaping. I mean, in real terms, there already is in VAT, which is, you know, it is a tax on top that we already have been paying. But I think the issue is they're hamstringing it and taxing it. If they were saying, right, okay, we're going to tax it, but you can carry on. You know, everything's allowed.
Yeah,
crack on with vaping, but tax
always had a problem with taxation of vaping.
But I think they're still going to flavour ban. They're still going to, you know, do all the crazy things that they're doing and tax it as well.
And put loads of people off. That's a really weird thing. That's like saying we're going to tax cigarettes. Definitely going to tax cigarettes. You can sell Marlboro. You can't sell Embassy.
The thing is though, why are we so accepting of these taxes? Because we're so used to, and I understand it legitimizes it. Yeah, I get that. It's in the system. It's earning the system some money. But at the end of the day, there is no reason to tax vaping products.
If you were talking, but I think
it's not like they put a strain on the health service.
No, but to be a realist in the let's be a realist in the UK. I'm talking about in the UK. I'm not talking about in the US.
I'm talking about UK as
Yeah,
well.
in the UK, we pay for the NHS, don't we?
Yeah.
And we pay for that through taxes. Not enough taxes. It needs to go up. Sorry, I'm that guy. At the moment, it's bleeding because people are quitting smoking. That's going to force the price of cigarettes up, which it's done in the past. Anybody who understands critical thinking will understand that the price of cigarettes in the budget only goes up by the amount they think they can keep taking off you. If they put 10 quid on, they want to quit, but they can't have that because they need the fucking tax. So there's going to be a tax deficit. I think it isn't. I'm talking about a nominal tax on vaping of, say, 10%. Wouldn't be that bad to legitimise what this is as an industry. I can't.
It wouldn't.
I don't think you can, when you're talking about this, you can't do UK and America at the same time.
No, exactly.
Because
you can't.
it is an accepted tobacco replacement option in the UK, and it is not an accepted tobacco replacement option.
But it is.
It's not in America.
No, but it is. But what they're trying to do is big tobacco in the US. They're behind all of this. They're behind all of the flavour ban, all of the whole thing. I just fuck about with it, but I'm not bothered. They're definitely behind it. Anyone who's got a fucking brain knows they're behind it. They're going to try and push it down to 3 flavours because that's what they want. They're going to try and push it down. The next thing is obviously to make it pod systems and push out the massive amount of money we save by using big bottles of liquid. They don't want that. They want to be able to charge you the same price for a pod as they charge you for 20 cigarettes. And they are well on their way to completing what is their final objective. And their customers don't even die anymore. I mean, that's a total bargain.
I mean, the saving to the health, not doesn't matter in America, but to the NHS, this is what the answer to so much freeing up of hospital beds. It might not be now because people will start vaping who've been smoking for 30 years and still die of lung cancer.
Yeah. Well, no.
Down the line,
7. What do they reckon? Is it 5 years? If you get 5 years clear of cigarettes,
Well,
down the line when
radical
everyone's doing
improvements
this
after
instead
12
of
months.
smoking, down the line when everyone's vaping instead of smoking, there'll be less NHS. There won't be.
Yeah,
such
but that is not really how the NHS works anyway. It's worse for the NHS if you live for a long time. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you want to die quickly and not go in. That's the key.
You want to get shot in the head at
Yes,
about age
not bad.
4.
that's why they quite like knife crime, I suppose. They only cut 100.
No, that's the problem with knife crime. They still get wheeled in on the trolley.
I think it's they get the young ones out of the way. There's a whole lifetime of NHS wiped off the bill there.
You never. The dream scenario is you just never go to the doctors and then get shot in the head.
It's better to die young if you're in the NHS would rather you died young.
What we're doing at the moment is called irony.
A joke.
It's true. It's true statistically. The longer you live, the more you will cost the NHS.
That's absolutely true. But
You
you'll
do
also
pay
pay
for
more
longer as
tax.
well, don't you?
You'll have paid more tax.
Let's not forget what cancer is degeneration of the cells, which happens anyway.
Yeah.
Past a certain age, no matter if you've lived like a saint.
It's an old age. It's an old age.
Cells degenerate. Fact.
Fact,
Your cells are degenerating right now.
Yeah, but that's not what cancer is. That's wrong.
It's a mutation caused by degeneration.
Okay, that's fine. I'll go with a mutation. It's not degenerate. It's not degenerate.
Right, but that's happening in America. A few politically minded people in America have suggested that he doesn't actually have enough current control of their system to put that through in a heartbeat. A few people have skeptically said that there's a long way to go between an announcement like that and it actually. So we will see how it plays out, but it's another nail, isn't it? It's another nail in the old American e-cig coffin.
It's really sad.
It is. It is for the industry, but is it for the DIYer and all the homebrewers? And we've seen, you haven't seen it, but Prohibition in the States put the price up too much, and there'll be people making juice and selling it out of the back of their vans, just like
that'll happen. But you can't I've seen some really
Which is fine,
good...
but it's hard to get the new smokers into vaping that way.
You can't get a nation off of smoking.
I kind of talked about the other week. I talked about an unsung hero of vaping, which is Amanda from Music City Vapes, who has made loads of liquids. You all know Nata is one of the things she helped work on. The whole Plumes range Amanda helped work on, and she can't do it anymore because she lives somewhere where vaping's fucked. And so it's fine. She's cool with it. She was when I worked with Amanda. She's one of the most brilliant people. So fast. Always understood what I was talking about when I went. I don't really know about that. I don't really like it like that. And she's gone from the industry, and that's what the sadness is. That's what's going to happen in the US. Who gives a shit about some generic tobacco or a fucking mint? Absolute wank.
It's whether it hitting the industry is going to impact hitting the end user.
It will.
It will.
Yes, it will. Some. It won't establish people who already vape, will it? Really?
No. Well, it's going to fuck up if they've got a local vape shop that is a decent one. It's gone. It's going to.
That's where they go for their stuff and all that sort of thing. It just
it messes up that industry, then, really, doesn't it? I mean, if you're a vapor and suddenly your vape shop couldn't sell your juice, you could buy it somewhere else.
It's certainly not good news anyway.
No, it's not.
I've got to just correct something. Andrew Witz has just put, "Stay healthy, guys. NHS is shite, from what I understand." Love you, but you live in America and you pay for it. We don't, and it's still better than yours. So fuck yourself.
There isn't anything shit about the NHS.
Yes. My wife works for it, so that's one from me and one from her as well.
The only thing is, like any good service, you only hear the bad, you don't hear the good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a fantastic service. It does a wonderful job.
Oh, they're there when you're ill.
I think,
you just go in.
If you hold anything like that to stats, it's never going to look great, is it? But the truth is, it's actually a brilliant institute.
Incredible.
Something that British people are very proud of.
Mm-hmm. And rightly so. Yeah.
I had a baby for free with them last year.
Didn't even have to say.
They even impregnated the wife, didn't they? For you?
No. Yeah, they did it all.
That wasn't strictly NHS.
He was a doctor. It counts.
Okay, moving on to Rick, who wants to talk about disposables.
I do, yes. I had a little email from a Chinese company, as I get the spams every day, trying to sell me stuff. And there was this new pod system, much like a Juul, except it wasn't rechargeable. It was a throwaway 350 puff vaping device.
Yep, on screen now.
Is it good? And it just made me think. It made me think how terrible it is that there's something like this that is disposable. I mean, it's not even just. I mean, plastic's bad enough, throwing away plastic. But throwing away lithium-ion batteries once a day. I mean, you would use 350 puffs. I don't even know if that would last me a day. So maybe let's say it does last a day. I'm going to use 7 of those a week. 350 or 250, however many days there are in a year.
Still 365.
How many is it? 300. I was making that mixed up. But I'm going to throw away a hell of a lot of lithium and a fair bit of plastic into the bin. And I just think it's terrible that these are disposable.
Yeah. Like this. And we should say as well, we put a screen up there. We're not picking on that company individually. No. I myself, like Rick, get a lot of these sort of emails. I've seen about 8 different ones from different companies, all basically the same. Obviously, the juice is the more fundamentally important thing with something like this than the actual product. But yeah, it's just wrong. I'm totally with you, Rick. Disposable tanks is one thing. You're throwing plastic in the bin. A lot of people do that. But putting a battery in the bin every day seems so fundamentally flawed. Like a TV remote battery lasts 6 months.
Yeah, I think it's just terrible. The battery is the main thing that I'm talking about. Is just chucking this rare, sort of rare. I don't know how rare lithium.
Yeah, lithiums are fairly. I mean, it's not
like a bit of plastic, is it?
No, it has to be. It's got to be mined.
I think it's just the wrong solution to the
Do you
problem,
think
isn't
the
it?
five of us would chuck away 3,500 of those a year? Is that right?
Such
No.
a,
It's a lot.
we I've got to pull out,
1,500.
I've got to pull out the prick points that I pulled out in the when we spoke
Yeah.
about this privately. Prick point number one. You're arguing against a product that's not really got any market penetration at all.
What the fuck is wrong with chat?
What if it does?
I keep writing Scotland is a shithole in chat, and it automatically removes Scotland from my comments.
And not shithole.
And not shithole. So it makes my comment say Andrew is a shithole, not Andrew, Scotland is a shithole.
That's really, really funny.
But no, go on, John. What are you saying? And what do you think? Do you think it's okay to throw hundreds of batteries in the bin every year?
No, because it's I just don't see it happening anyway. I think you're fighting that's like being worried about how much pollution teleportation is going to create. It just seems fucking nuts to be angry about it. We constantly do this thing where we argue about environmental issues that aren't problems. That's not as a society. I mean, people fucking moaning about straws. I mean, of the fucking table of problems, that's not even close to at the top. Nothing. It's bollocks. I totally agree. Throwing lithium batteries in the bin is a problem, but you've got loads of breakers in between that. You've got wholesalers got to buy them, knowing what you just said. Retailers have got to sell them. Well, I own a shop. We're never going to fucking sell. I'm not going to sell disposable ones. That's nuts. I wouldn't sell the Juul because it's shit.
I tell you what, though, in the next couple of months, you're going to see a lot of these come out. A lot of these get reviewed. A lot of these going to get Instagrammed. A lot of them are going to hit distros, and a lot of distros are going to ask a lot of vape shops.
Yeah, and a lot of them are going to have them in garages as an option.
Okay. So
I'm not saying that they're going to be the new big thing, but what if?
Still
But
zero.
what if? But what if?
Right. Exactly. Okay. All right. You've changed it. If you say "what if," I'm happy to play along, but it doesn't exist as a problem at the moment. So
It's about to.
It's
maybe it's about to. Maybe.
It already exists in the pods for Juul.
It's rechargeable though.
How many?
That's rechargeable.
Yeah, but the problem exists in the pods. We're now extenuating the problem by creating a version of it.
My other argument to Rick was, you've only got to try Juul once, and you will throw it in the bin. So
Yeah, but
they are disposable because they're shit.
Well, they're not terrible though. But they work. If you're a smoker, and it could help you give up.
Wouldn't have quit me. I wouldn't have quit. We had this discussion at the time.
I think I could have on one.
I wouldn't have quit. I know I wouldn't quit.
I just think it's the wrong solution. Like,
Even the old E-lights never went down this disposable route.
If
Yeah,
a
it is.
TV
Yeah,
remote,
They're rechargeable. E-light.
No, yeah, and they did disposables as well. In a
There
little
was
tube.
another company that did disposals. Wasn't
Yeah,
there?
and you could pull the thing out and then smoke it and throw it in the bin. I had one. It was green.
if TV remotes, the batteries in there only lasted a day, they'd change the technology. They'd come up with a different solution. They'd make it so you put the remote in a holster every morning.
Right.
Or...
But what you did just there, Richard, is you made it let's just pretend that's true. Go through. So if remotes only lasted a day, they would do this. Well, the problem hasn't happened yet, so nobody's created the solution.
But we're reversing it. We've found a solution, which is rechargeable pods, and for the sake of a 30p or £1 recharge board, we're going backwards technology wise. You know, I do think these will get market penetration because, like Brad said, I think they'll be in petrol stations before summer.
There could quite easily be more people using those than use the stuff we use easily if they get into garages.
No, I still want to go against that because they've got Vape have got massive market penetration in the UK.
Yeah, but then something comes along that's half the price and looks better.
It doesn't. I've seen it. It looks shit.
I thought they looked quite good, that one that I got.
Not compared. I mean, the Vape. I mean, I know it's shit, so I don't want one, but it does look quite stylized. It's a lot better than that.
but we had a go on a prototype one at
We
Expo, John.
Yeah, we did.
Wasn't a bad vape.
It wasn't. I agree. It was better than the Joule.
I don't. I hope they don't. I hope they don't.
What if they had a? Okay, let's go best. let's go best case scenario. What if the garage that sells the horrific thing have a recycling bin that says?
Funny you should say that, because I talked to Dimitri the Vaping Greek about this this week about the disposable pod thing, and they have set up in his state a recycling thing for pods, coils, tanks, and specifically to tackle this. And so all vape shops in his state are about to carry a special bin for these.
But do the batteries get recycled?
Yes, what they do with they take the stuff out of the bin and they dismantle it so that the battery can then go into a proper recycle place. Is the way they see it going. Because if you went to a normal battery bin with that e-cigarette
I agree.
and put it in, they wouldn't bother.
But it wouldn't cost anything if you were. Let's just go to make up names. I don't give a shit what it's called. Let's call it Jeff's Disposable Vapes. If they had Jeff's Disposable Vapes in Esso and had a bin that says, well, they've got a point of sale right on the floor with Jeff's Vapes down the side of it, and people come in, throw their old one in the bin and buy another one. There's literally can't see a problem with that.
But the thing yes, but hang on, you're missing something, and so is Mr. Greek, Mr. Vaping Greek. Will people be asked to do that?
I think
if there's no reward for them to do it, there's no
reward for throwing this stuff in the right bin.
They're not going to fucking do it, are they? Then really,
but there's no reward for throwing. I can throw everything in the fucking black bin. We've got 3 bins.
Yeah, and someone who doesn't know anything about throwing lithium in the bin is just going to lob it out the car window as they're driving along. It's not going to happen unless there's a reward for them to do it. Maybe some money off of their next one if they do. You know,
what reward do you get for putting your rubbish in the right bin?
Peace of mind that I'm not.
You can't have that argument.
That's me. I'm not the same as everybody else. You know?
No, I said, what reward do you get for putting plastic in the blue bin?
The future of the planet.
You're a fucking idiot. Fucking knob.
Then the same percentage of people who are you
would do exactly.
I mean, I don't even. We're stopping using bubble wrap at work.
It won't be everyone. We know it. Look at the fucking recyclable.
I like the idea of Rick not using bubble wrap. What are you using instead? I'm up for it.
We are still using some bubble wrap. We have to on something, but we don't pad out boxes with bubble wrap now. We've got this bubble paper you can get.
Let me know about the bubble paper.
Yeah, it's twice as expensive, but
yeah, send me a link. I'll have a go at bubble wrap, bubble paper. I like the idea.
That's the reason Amazon use brown paper, isn't it?
It's the right thing to do. I mean, you can pack out stuff, and it doesn't need as much material, and it's paper.
It doesn't help that Amazon sends a box that fucking big.
Oh yeah, they do mess up with boxes.
But
I can get something this big in the post.
I know, but they do say that at least 100% of theirs is
recyclable.
Yeah, that's their excuse for that.
I think it's
a thing. It's a thing. We don't need to dwell on it too much. It's a thing that's about to happen.
Yeah, I just think it's back.
Me and Rick are worried about it.
Mind out. There's that and teleportation.
John's always been me. He's not super worried about.
I think it's an oversight on China's part. I've got to say. I mean, I've got nothing against the Chinese. I use them all the time. I've got friends there, but they don't have this green view or this conscientious view of pollution like we do, like the Western world do they?
You do. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a thing. It's a thing. So we thought we'd highlight it now, and we'll see how it progresses. And there we go. What's next? Let's have a look. Oh, it's Brad. Australia waking up.
He's going to have to
Australia waking up already. Yeah. Okay. I'm not Australian. Thanks, John.
Is it 11 hours or 9 hours difference at the moment?
A whole bunch of hours. Yeah. I'm no good at math.
Not going to say the word maths either.
Fuck off. We recently touched on New Zealand and their forward-thinkingness, and it appears that someone at the University of Melbourne is a place in Australia, for those who weren't aware, has had exactly the same thought. Maybe they watched the show.
Isn't that where Isn't that where Bogan's from, Melbourne or Victoria?
No, Adelaide.
No, he's from Adelaide.
Oh,
But anyway, they did a study on Australians versus New Zealanders, primarily around vaping and how much they think vaping has saved the Australian economy in working hours and in added health. And this has been submitted to whoever the fucking Australian government department that deals with this shit is. But I just thought it was interesting that the Australians have proven that the New Zealanders have added an estimated 236,000 quality-adjusted life years since 2011 through the promotion of vaping. That being said, that works out to like an average of 19 extra healthy working days per person in New Zealand. They go into it's saving the health system. So we were talking about NHS savings. It saves the New Zealand health.
In Australia.
It saves the New Zealand health system $815 per person over the remainder of their lives. So that'll be in the reduced tobacco-related diseases. They do go into the numbers of smokers here somewhere, which I thought was quite scary for how few people are actually vaping in Australia. So in a country where 14% of the population are smokers, 8.8% of Australian adults have ever used an e-cigarette, but only 0.5% use them daily. We live in a country in the UK, where I think the vaping numbers are 3.2 million, which works out to 7.6%.
It's more than that now, Brad. That's like, it's more than 3 million vapers in the UK now.
3.2 million as of December last year, which is 50% up from January last year. They've got a country where 0.5% of people are actually vaping because of the legislation and how hard they've made it. So the things they've put in place definitely are stopping people from vaping. They go on here, what's next, world leading research, blah, 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 and promoting this to government. So it looks like down the line we might have some changes from Australia.
They're generally pretty sensible politicians. I lived in Australia for a couple of years. They're generally normal, decent people who say how it is, Australian ministers.
Quite. Yeah, sort of. They're also...
they're not like our members of parliament, are they?
No, they are worse.
The Prime Minister will say how it is, you know. I mean, over there, I don't know who he is at the moment, but...
I'm going to go against you. I think they're more backward thinking than we are.
I think they're more down to earth.
I think they have a proclivity to a religious sway that we forget, and they do have that. And I think that I'm going to say the Australian government is fucking ludicrous a lot of the time.
Okay.
No more ludicrous than our lot.
I don't know. They have a proclivity to Catholicism, which I would rather have a proclivity to fucking shrews in the face. Catholicism. I would laugh, but I mean it.
I just know when I lived there, they're doing something right.
Yeah, I do. I'm only being a dick, Rick, but they do have a problem with the right lean in Australia and have done for decades, which doesn't do
lovely weather though.
Lovely weather.
Good standard of living.
Yeah,
it's not a lot of crime. It's really quite good there.
There's just a few too many Australians. That's all. Only problem.
I like Aussies, man. I like them. They're good to drink with. Friendly.
There's only one or two Aussies I like.
The women look nice on telly.
Hey.
I haven't been myself.
That's they're fucking naked all the time.
Oh yeah, we talked about this.
There are two lab workers. Labworks in chat said there are 200,000 vapors here in Australia. I think there's more than that, but
There's only 20 million people live there.
that's amazing, isn't it? Considering the land mass, that is an incredible thing.
Oh, they only live in five areas as well. You know, 5 or 6 areas.
That's amazing.
The rest of the place is just fucking sand and kangaroos.
Yeah, I saw it. It on Peppa Pig. They've got this thing called the Outback, and it's just fucking nothing.
It's great, Australia. Don't knock it till you tried it. I loved it over there.
Yeah, they seem to have a good time on the program.
It's brilliant over there. Yeah, great.
I only laugh so hard because I think I watched the same episode with my daughter.
Yeah, it's a 4-part.
Peppa Pig's great.
It's a fucking long way away. So you've got to do 4-parter, really. Rich, I think we're going to have to move on to Michigan.
Oh, wait till you see this. You will not.
I don't know if I will.
Your eyes.
It's in the notes. If it's not, I won't see it.
Yeah, so I saw this on Instagram. It was Instagram account of Sen Dania, who is kind of like a very activist style vapey person. This was comments made by a senator in America during a House meeting or what have you. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But it shows very much where America is at with their public mindset towards e-cigarettes and things. So I'll put it on screen now. This is a direct quote by Senator Dania Polanski or Polanki. She said this in the House. Direct quote. I was a teacher last semester, and one of my 9th grade students, it was the first time she vaped, she got instant popcorn lung. Something about how her body was made. She went on life support. She is now healthy again and back in school.
Instant popcorn lung.
Instant popcorn lung.
Again,
you can get in the microwave. You've got to go in the microwave to get instant popcorn lung.
I mean, there's been no reported cases in the last 15 years.
I think it might have just been a pipe full of popcorn. I think that's what she vaped.
Instant popcorn lung.
But again, where did she go for this treatment? And then it wasn't recorded because there's been no recorded cases in the last.
But instant popcorn, I think you just go.
Is it like when
straight to Butterkist and they?
Is it like when, like a mafioso gangster leader gets shot and they can't go to hospital?
No,
so they go to like an
there.
Off-duty, off-the-books vet.
You go straight off duty, like back door. You kind of go, hi, knock on the door, and they go, hey, come in. We're going to sort
It's an epidemic with the kids. Like they said, they're getting a big old tube, and they're getting a line of popcorn kernel, and they're going and breathing it, filling their lungs with popcorn.
The student's first vape. How unlucky! You know, I had about 8 before I got popcorn lung.
Yeah,
you know, I was already onto rebuildables before I got popcorn lung.
But the thing was, but it was something, obviously, because she's medically trained. It was something about how her body was made. That's how she got them.
Could just see on the crash cart, they're pushing her in. Was it custard? Was it custard?
Definitely, must have had diacetyl.
Someone said strawberry and grape. No, it's not strawberry and grape. It's not enough diacetyl.
It's definitely 5 pawns.
I just really like the idea. I know you've said the hospital thing, like of her going, but like a doctor going,
got popcorn lung.
But I don't understand, Dr. Smith. How did she get it? That's how her body's made.
Something about her body.
I just have an image of her in the crash cart and then looking up the defibrillators. And as they zap her, you see this crackling in her chest.
It does go on to say that at the time it happened and she had her first vape, she was wrapped in foil and over a boiling pan.
Yeah. So, I really like the idea though as well. That, she got instant popcorn lung, which we know is a chronic obstructive disorder of the lung. But now she's all right. She's fine.
Well, she went into
those couple of people popcorn lung from diacetyl actually. Oh, they didn't get it from diacetyl. They got it from the powder, like butter flavouring.
No. Well, they got it. They don't know what they got it from. They could have got it.
Did they actually recover? Did they recover?
No, it is a chronic obstructive disorder.
Well, there you go.
But the thing is, it's got nothing to do with popcorn. That was never proved. It's got nothing to do with diacetyl. There's no link at all.
And again, we should always say this
because the post got 100,000 likes on Facebook.
But I think it's 5 times more diacetyl in a cigarette than a vape, than any vape ever.
And nobody gets popcorn lung from
smoking.
You get lung cancer, but no
popcorn.
Is anybody else craving popcorn right now?
Yeah, a little bit. It did remind me of I don't know what the drug awareness was like when you were at school.
Hilarious.
But there was a video.
It was Grange Hill for us.
Yeah, we had to watch a video where someone. It was the big thing then was like people like sniffing gas, like glue and things like that.
Yeah.
And it showed a video with a reenactment in, and someone just had a sniff of a can or something and just fell to the floor. Just like
a Pritt stick.
Yeah, just a little sniff. Bang. And it was just reminding me of that a bit. Because even as a very sceptical 9-year-old, I was like, I'm not sure.
Have you ever seen that? Have you seen there's a great thing. This is your in America. They had an infomercial, and it was called "This Is Your Brain on Drugs." It's very funny. You should watch it. I think it's a woman trying to cook eggs or something. That goes, "This is your brain on drugs."
Yeah, no more headache pills, kids.
They kind of make all these things make you just fancy doing it. Insta popcorn lung. I really like it, and the fact that it just
They
goes.
might have to add that warning now to the box.
Yeah, instant popcorn lung. Mind yourself, fuckface.
She's obviously a complete fool.
Mm-hmm.
Brad has popped off.
I don't know what it is. Brad's little girl. She's not very well at the moment, so he might have been
John then.
To daddy duties.
Yeah, back to you, John.
Oh, okay. I've got it. I don't know. Maybe they've landed. I'm going to do a live tracking. I'll do a live tracking. The napkin rings for the saver are in the air at the moment. Are coming over from South Africa. From Brent in South Africa. I'm gonna live track the whole fucking thing. Is he back? He's back. We worried about you.
We're live tracking the napkin rings.
We're live tracking EMS tracking. So we've got the 4mm tank extensions for the saver up on the way from South Africa.
Like I said, South African Post has been on strike since '94, so just be patient with my country.
It is bad, I will say that, and your tracking is shit.
Yeah, technology didn't really come to Africa.
It's still, the tracking is still the same. It says departed from export office, Durban, on the 7th. It's the 14th.
So
that was a week.
That plane has been in the air for 7 days.
7 days. It's going to land.
They're not actually. It may have left the airport, but it didn't leave by plane. So it's coming by camel.
Oh, nice. So that's one. That's the first thing. The second thing I've already spoken about, which is we've signed a new range. Oh, I'm going to go for 3. Just that Nick have signed a new range. I can't say anything about it apart from the fact that Rick is currently vaping it. But we're going to be stocking it. It's going to be the first time it's ever been sold in the UK. It was sent to me a little while ago by the owner of the company, and it's absolutely fantastic. I kind of said on the Just Have Nick page, it's a grown-up vape. That's as much as I'm going to go with. I think Rick said tobacco, so I'm going to say tobacco. There is a tobacco element to the flavours, but I think you're really going to really like it. Julian Lee Van Collar said South Africa, DHL or FedEx, neither. It's EMS.
Looking at you, Brad.
AMS, I recognise, but
AMS.
only vaguely.
Yeah, shit. Amy Johnson Airways is what Johnson said. So that's one thing. The second thing is we are really, really that close to signing. I'm going to call it a vaping
accessory.
A vaping accessory. Yeah, we're going to call it an accessory. And a vaping accessory, and it's going to be the first time that's ever been sold in the UK as well. Probably will have that in the bag by early next week, and probably go on the site the weekend after.
Yeah, and that's a very exciting one, isn't it?
That is really
because it's a new thing for Just Add Nick, and it's a big thing in our circles, isn't it? So.
Yes. It's going to be absolutely huge, and there'll be teasers. So at the moment, I've got 3 things up in the air. One of them, fucking literally,
juggling balls.
Yes. We're going to jump back to you now with vaping is on the rise in Britain, replacing cigarettes. Brad.
Oh, he's frozen. So let's go to me then instead.
Okay. Do that.
Or is he just sitting very still?
No, he doesn't do that.
No, he's looking at you from my screen. Oh, no, he's moving again.
Brad, vaping on the rise. Take us away.
Am I back? Yeah. Okay, sorry. I've had to kill all the windows on my screen to get my internet to come back to life. So all my news is now, consider that my shredder section for the night. Skip ahead, and if I manage to revive any of my windows, I'll jump back to it.
Okay.
Who's next on the list? Because I've lost the list as well. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Move on from me.
Oh, okay. John's gone, so should I do something? I would like to just... I've got Moxon. I don't know what you're talking about.
John's got Moxon.
Valley.
I was, yeah. We just had a couple of people saying, "Oh, what's the resistance and blah 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 of this new wire that I've got, this fused Clapton wire." I just want to explain to people who, I mean, I've been using this for a while, and sometimes you don't see the wood for the trees. I just know how they work, and you just assume everybody does. But there are a couple of people asking, "Oh, what do we buy? How do we coil it, and what resistance will it be, and blah blah blah." And I just thought I'd try and clear up a few facts about this sort of wire. Now, the outside of a fused Clapton or an Alien or any exotic wire, it makes absolutely no difference to the resistance of the coil. It's always about the thicker cores that go through the wire. So if you've got a fused Clapton or an Alien that's got a pair of, my preferred is 26 gauge, pair of 26 gauge, it makes no difference, hardly any difference. It'll make a little bit of difference because of the inner diameter. It'll be slightly bigger than a round wire build. But if you want to know what the resistance is, go on to Steam Engine. Steam Tuners, Steam Engine? One of those. Yeah. And just pretend that they're a pair of parallel coils. They're parallel coils because they're just two thick cores that go through the middle, and the outside doesn't affect the resistance. It really acts like a wick, the outside, to hold the juice. So I just had a couple of people on Facebook saying about that, but just think of them as, if they're 26 gauge cores, they're the same as a 26 gauge parallel coil.
Yeah, I think the bigger thing, more than resistance, a lot of people are unregulated now anyway, but more than resistance, the bigger thing is ramp up, I find.
Yeah.
So the thicker the smaller number, the bigger the smaller number, the thinner that is. And then the faster that ramps up. So I don't like a super fast ramp up. So I don't mind it when it's a medium sized wire with a really thick wire wrapped together.
See, I've always found that for me, a sweet spot on the ramp up and resistance is a 26 gauge core, pair of cores, NI80. So it comes down to material as well.
Yeah.
NI80 just lends itself perfectly for having a little bit less resistance than Camphor and a little bit more resistance than stainless. So it's sort of that middle ground is just for me. 26 gauge fused Claptons are perfect. I've tried 22s, 24s, 28s, and I ended up with 26 as being my favorite. Some people like 24s.
Yeah,
I actually preferred it up at the 28 sort of range, a really, really thin wire, but that's because I like the slightly higher resistance.
Quick ramp up, high resistance. Well, if you're using regulated, there's absolutely no... I've just been using mechs and unregulated for so long. 26 just seems to be perfect for that.
Yeah.
But if you're using a regulated device, it'll actually just be quicker ramp up with a 28 gauge.
Yeah. So concentrate on what the thinner wire is that's woven in, and give it a go. Give it a go. I think you'll be shocked.
Thicker wire in the core. Don't worry about the thinner wire on the outside.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. I think it's one of those things where you've got to try it. You've got to experience these things. There's not that many things that are that unique and different in vaping, really. An RDA is an RDA, etc. But for me personally, it was a revelation. But obviously, I still like my low wattage stuff. But for over 30 watts, it was a revelation. I think the flavour
just to keep that coil juiced up properly, it acts as a wick as well as the cotton, so it holds more juice and there's more surface area.
Increases surface area, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, with all the nooks and crannies, you've got juice in there that's gonna. For me, it's more flavoursome. Even with 30 watts, 26 watts. I mean, it's not as flavoursome as it would be if I turned it up. But I've got this set up at 26 watts.
Where are we on the note? Did Brad do his bit?
Brad's lost it.
No, Brad lost it all when my internet went for a shit show. So
okay,
we've just moved on politely.
Okay.
So you've got something on the ITV?
I've got to do both. I'll do them both at the same time. One of them was a quick question, actually. You've all got kids, so this is a fine question.
I've been told.
Yeah, that's what they reckon. Routers went with. This was their article this week, and it was just that it's not. I just wanted to know what you think. I think I know anyway. Parents who avoid smoking at home may still vape around their kids. That was the headline. Parents who use both traditional e-cigarettes may vape around their kids at home and in the car when they don't smoke around their kids, a study in the US suggests. And that was the thing. Do you vape around your kids? Rick, I'm going to go on my screen.
Yes, I do. I never smoked. I never smoked in front of my kids. I always went outside. I now vape in the front room if they're in the front room with me. I'm obviously not blowing smoke all over them, and I've got a pod extractor in the corner of my room that I sort of blow it in that direction. Just
to make this more relevant, because I already know where Brad's going to land on this, so I need to change it slightly.
How dare you assume you know me?
I do. Tilly and Rosie, your darling children, how old are they, Rick?
Rosie is 10 and Tilly is 13.
Perfect. Richard, it's going by the order on my screen, Brad.
No, I don't do it. I don't do it in the same room as them. I don't do it in the car if they're there. They know I do it, but I'd never do it in the same room as them.
Do you do it if you're out and about?
No, not even outside. No, I just don't do it around them.
Just don't do it around. That's totally fine. And that's not. Is it for a health reason or is it for
That's a nostalgic cling on to smoking, though, isn't it?
It's 1,000,000% not a health thing. It's right. It's not even a normalising thing or anything like that. It's just I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's part routine and all that sort of stuff. But I don't massively want to normalise it in front of the kids, and stigma around it as well. I don't even want to create a situation where someone ignorant enough to question it. Yeah, so I don't know.
I drive along having a vape. I've got my window open in my car a little bit, and I know if I direct it there, it will suck it.
When my kids are your age, Rick, I'll be doing it right in the face.
I'm half wanting the old Bill
that was my point, but that was the reason I wanted Rick to tell us the age of his children.
I'm half of me always wanting the old Bill to pull me up because it's illegal to smoke in a car with kids. I want them to pull me up and say you're smoking the car, so I can say.
Richard, can you give the age of your kids again?
Yeah, 5 and 2, so it's a completely different.
Yeah, I didn't smoke in front. I didn't. It's only.
No. Okay, let me just say one thing. There isn't a correct answer. I'm only just trying to put this out there as a thing. It was only.
I reckon that.
Tilly and Rosie come to Vape Fest. I can hardly hide it.
Oh, exactly. And there's no. I'm not. Yeah, exactly. And like Richard said, there's a thing where you try and protect your children under a specific age for various
But
reasons.
you know what though? Through all of my vaping in front of them, Tilly's getting to that age now. I mean, she's got friends who even smoke. It's it's like at that age I was smoking.
Yeah, I suppose.
She hasn't shown any interest in picking up one of these silly devices and looking silly puffing on it. I mean, it's not everyone might think it's some people say it's a cool scene. There's nothing that looks good about us picking up a block of something with a battery in it and having a chug on some fruit. You know, there's nothing cool about it, is there?
There's been some quite funny answers. Let me just do a quick one. Mark Selby, I vape around my kid. He's 18 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, John Smith says he vapes around his son. He's 37.
He's 37. That's the same age as me. Good.
I vape around Jake. He's 30.
And sorry, Brad. Let's go. And your daughter is age
1.
She is 11 months old.
Right.
81.
And it might appear that you do know me because
I saw a picture. You had a picture of her with one of your mods on her.
Yes, but he's going to say he never vapes in front of the kid.
I had a picture with one of my mods on the pram, but I was so paranoid that I took the battery out of the mod and wasn't back into use.
Yeah, I think they made a paper at that age, don't you?
I don't vape around her. I don't vape in the same room. I don't vape on the same floor as her.
Yeah, I do. No, I don't vape on the same.
So she's upstairs in bed, and I'll vape down here. When she's downstairs in the tea room with Mom, the office door is normally closed, and my back door is just over there, and I'll pop outside, have a little vape.
Just to jump backwards again, because I really think it can't be said enough times. There is no correct answer.
Yeah.
When I'm watching the chat, it's coming up on the side. Please don't think this is anything. It's not.
I would say, like, it's not even a kid thing in a way, because if we have people over for dinner, adults,
I do exactly the same. I leave the room.
I don't
I'm
actually.
in somebody's house.
Depending on who they are, yeah, I don't actually. It's more of an atmosphere thing, really. I don't really want to cloud up a room.
Well, the only thing that I found at dinner parties is really odd. That I've found when I've been at dinner parties, which is happy to step outside and vape, not going to vape in public.
They'll all want to vape on your thing as well, won't they?
They always, but not only that, because it doesn't smell like smoke anymore. I have the thing where it's like a natural tick because I've been smoking for over 20 years, or vaping and smoking for 20 years. I accidentally sometimes just flick out a smoke ring. Don't do it on purpose. I'm just vaping or smoking. You might watch it on the show and see me do it, but I don't do it on purpose. I just go. When I smoked, I did the same thing. If I was smoking indoors, I'd go and then blow a smoke ring up. And then at dinner parties, people would go, "No, do vape at the table. John, do the ring thing." So
the ring thing, John.
So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but I think that article's wrong, and I think if you ask most vapers, they don't.
That's not what it. I will say. I will agree to this. It doesn't say that. It says it's okay to do it, but it doesn't actually say do it. Or you would anyway.
I don't condone doing it.
I think we're all up for the next one, which is the ITV news, which is fucking. I have to get rid of cookie warnings so I can actually do the show. This was a story from 3 days ago on the ITV news site. Vaping restrictions should be lifted in hospitals. This was the report. Restrictions on vaping on hospital grounds should be lifted. The pro-smoking group has said more than half, 55% of NHS trusts do not allow e-cigarettes to be used outdoors. Did not allow e-cigarettes to be used outdoors last year, according to a report by the Freedom Organisation for the Right to Enjoy Smoking, Forest. We know Forest from their general fuckassery in the world of smoking. This is despite Public Health England, PHG, advising it should be made easier for people to vape on site. The group said Forest is also calling for a greater freedom for patients, visitors and staff who want to smoke cigarettes at hospitals. The problem is, as it's always in vaping, the wrong people have taken the fucking ban. Fuck Forest. They are pricks, and they've been pricks for fucking years. even when I was a smoker, I thought they were wankers. I personally feel that vaping on any device that's not really throwing clouds should be allowed in the hospital, because I think you would get more people to quit. And I think you should sell Vipes and Blues and Juuls.
The bare necessity of nicotine delivery.
Is it just me, or did everyone just miss that John, without prompting, promoted the £1
I don't care.
pod?
Because the reason I don't care is because about shit. So I think I'm trying to work out how long I've been married.
Luckily, Shirley doesn't watch the show, where you'd be in trouble.
I mean, really shit. I think it's 4 years. So we used to have to go and see my grandfather-in-law about twice a week when he was in hospital. And when we pulled up, we would walk past the reception area, and there would be people outside holding their drip on a stand in a hospital gown, smoke it. People wheeled outside to have a fag by the thing. That's fucking insanity. If you said to them, there's this thing, right, that tastes like mint or lemons or peaches, and you can use it in your room, I think they'd do it.
Well, you and I were talking on the show last week when I described my smoking outside a hospital moment when I broke my collarbone.
Yeah, it's a different thing when someone's dying of emphysema.
Yeah, but I literally walked outside the hospital pre-surgery, my arm hanging like this with a piece of my fucking collarbone sticking out. Go outside and had a fag in the car park.
Yeah.
And met my fucking doctor, who I'd interrupted his dinner so he could come and do surgery. And he had a fucking cigarette with me in the car park. Like, that situation would never have needed to happen if I could have just fucking had a vape in the hospital bed.
I've still got more of an issue when I watch people wheel outside for a fag. I just think it's useless.
It stems further than just the people who are, I don't want to say bedridden, but people who have cancer, people who have a lung issue, people who are there for smoking-related illnesses. People who smoke go there for all kinds of fucking issues. They could quite easily just have a vape in the room rather than having to go outside.
Nick Smith has said, in chat, my local hospital offers e-cigarettes to inpatients now rather than patches. That's such an amazingly good thing to do. Good.
There's a big addiction. There's a big problem with nicotine addiction.
But the other thing is that we all know, if you've been on a ward, the wards were built. Most wards in most hospitals in the UK were built quite some time ago, and a lot of them still have smoking rooms, which aren't smoking rooms anymore. If it's a problem, let's make them vaping rooms and get people to stop smoking. I just think it's fucking insane. I've known patients who've had multiple strokes because they've smoking, emphysema, obstructions in their lungs, and they're still going. You know, the only thing that stops them is they can't light it, and somebody has to do it for them. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's time we moved on and stopped people smoking.
Yeah, it's always been about disassociating vaping with smoking, hasn't it? I mean, it isn't the same. Please listen to us if you don't know. You know, it isn't.
Oh, Mick Blizzard has done something. He's going to make me do a John Honoré story. Mick Blizzard has put in chat. I used to work in a cancer centre and once saw one of our patients walked out of the department and sparked up through his tracheotomy stoma. Used to be a guy came into the shop I used to work in, and he bought 40 Benson every single day, and he smoked it through a stoma.
Banging, isn't it?
Oh my god!
When I was a kid, I did a milk round with the milkman, Clive, his name was, with a Ricanori. And I was on the round with this guy. I don't know if anybody would ever know somebody like him, but I'm not lying here. He smoked 120 Super Kings a day.
Oh, god! Yeah.
I was on the round with him in the morning, and he suddenly like pulled up on the float, and he said, "I don't feel right. I don't feel right." And he had a brain hemorrhage. With me as a 15-year-old lad, he had a brain hemorrhage and was rushed to King's or Queen's Hospital in London.
Oh.
I had to go and knock on someone's door and say, "Can you help me?" Clive's just keeled over. He had a brain hemorrhage for 120 cigarettes a day. He used to say, one after the other.
Yeah, that's mad.
It's it's fun. You know, I do know exactly what you mean because Simon, my best mate, used to work. We used to both work down the market when we were 13, and we used to pretend. So as long as you looked 16-ish, it was fine. So we used to work all day, 6 a.m. till about 6 p.m. And a couple of years ago, Simon said to me, his boss was called Dave, and he said, "How do you think Dave is?" And I said, "Dave is dead." And he said, "Oh, what, did you see something in the paper?" And I said, "No, he used to bite the filters off Super Kings and spit them out and then light the cigarette." Dave is dead. Dave has been dead for ages. There's no fucking way that man is alive. I just remember him going, and then just like, he used to smoke 40 fags with no filter. Like, yeah, he's dead. Don't worry about that. Yeah, the chat's coming alive. Let me just...
Milkman stories, right? Get this. My boss at work, his granddad was a milkman, which is a long time ago.
It's a Ricanori.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, right? And he was a raging alcoholic, and he used to drink on his round. But back then, it was at horse and cart. So horse and cart, all the milk in the cart, him up the front. He was such a raging alcoholic towards the end of doing his round. He used to fall asleep on the coach, and the horse would just drive him home.
I was thinking that. I was running with the horse and keep going. Yeah.
How brilliant is that?
That is really good. Did the horses also go, "Call him Black Label"?
It's true. It's true. That's what really is happening. And we're going all the way back now with self-drive cars, but we had self-drive cars 100 years ago. I
do like the idea of the horses just going, "Nice again." Fuck's sake, take it back.
Yeah, I think he knew that when it got light enough that they were all empties, just time to totter off.
Time to totter off. We're going to go back to Dairy Crest and get rid of Jeff the wanker.
So there we go. Let's slide on.
Rich, we're off to you with a profile.
Ooh, right. I'm gonna cover both of my last, because we're running slightly out of time. I'm gonna cover both my things real quick. So I'm gonna say that this evening, while we've been doing the show, I've been vaping this brand new RTA from Motofo, the Profile RTA. So it's the follow-up to the Profile RDA, which is a popular mesh RDA from Motofo, designed by Mr. Just Right One and TVC, the Vapor Chronicles. So it's almost the exact same deck as the RDA, but now in RTA form. So it's a mesh RTA.
Can't see the tank. Can you see the juice in now?
Yes. So they put the glass a bit higher up on this.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's a mesh-based RTA. Very interesting. I'm gonna swiftly slide over that. I'm gonna put a couple of pics up so people can.
Is this what I saw young Mark Todd with on a live video yesterday?
Yes, I think so. Today or yesterday. Yes, he will have done that. He'll have unboxed it, type thing.
I did see that.
So there are some pictures on screen of it. So I'm going to have a review very soon on my channel of that. But yeah, first impressions. Very interesting indeed. Very well made, as old tanks from Motofo tend to be.
What was the dripper they did with the same?
Yes, that was the Profile RDA.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. Sorry.
The one thing is the mesh, though. The thing is the mesh. Cause
I'm trying to get my head around this mesh, Richard, because I'm in another group on Facebook, and all the newbies are raving about mesh.
Yeah, but it tends to be the sub-tanks, the mesh sub-tanks, which is a completely different layout to this, because it's the vertical mesh. you know,
Isn't it just a mesh? I've seen somewhere they just got a bridge, basically like a bridge, like they used to be.
yeah, that's
mesh.
that's what's going on in here.
But you're filling up all that cotton with juice that isn't touching any metal to be vaporized.
Yeah, there's like a mill. There's like a mill of cotton.
Yeah, you dump a load of juice that won't ever get. That will just go stale at the bottom.
Yeah, with sub tanks, it really has worked. There's a handful of sub tanks out now where the vape is fantastic with this fancy new mesh. It's not mesh anymore, but we're just calling it that for the sake.
It's got holes in it, hasn't it? It's got a load of little holes in it.
Three-dimensional, and yeah, and it's working really well in the sub tanks. The RTA is a follow up to the RDA. The one thing with it in tank format that you really notice is the ramp up is almost too fast. Like it's literally, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's I mean, it is like 0 to 100 in split.
But the noobs that use these sort of things are generally knocking on the door of 100 watts anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, in the sub tanks. But this is with it being a rebuildable. It's I don't know. It's an interesting one, and I'm going to. It's the next review on my channel, so I'll cover it in more detail there. But yeah, it's an interesting new thing from them, and it's a bit different with it being mesh and stuff, so quite interesting. So there is that. The other thing I need to do, as always, is a blast from the past.
Oh, blast from the past.
Now I do, and I will continue to slightly take the piss with the exact dates on the blast from the past.
We will afford you some flexibility.
Because it's just better for me. But I tell you what, it was literally 5.5 years to the day that this came out. An RTA that has become part of Vaping Dynasty. And this week's blast from the past is the original Squape.
Oh.
On screen now is a picture of the very, very first Squape RTA. Yes. It seems to be on looks like an 18500 Paps in the picture, and it is as big as the Paps.
It's big, isn't it? Yeah.
5 years, 6 months away. That's amazing.
Yeah, 5 years and 6 months ago, this was released to the market, and it's the very original Stackworm Squape. Obviously, there's been about 6 versions of it.
This must have been about the same time as the K-Fun, then.
Yeah, it was. It was just after the Russian 91, I think.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the very, very first one, and it's still, even with the ones now, it still looks like your Squape. You know what I mean? They've kept quite a stylistic thing with the windows, and yeah, and the way they brush it in that circular fashion as well. But obviously, the original Squape, it did well enough to create what has become this huge brand now. But their evolution is just massive, isn't it? You know, they're constant. They were
so basic, the atomizers back then, weren't they? I mean, they weren't like, but they vaped. Some of them vaped really well, didn't they? But they didn't know. They didn't have the formula. They didn't know what worked and what didn't. There were so many ATs being put out that didn't work, and the odd one that did.
I've got one of them here, and obviously it looks quite different, but it's still got that sort of look, hasn't it? Tall windows near the top. Certain sort of cut out on the windows.
Is that a cotton Atty?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The original one. I never had one. I never had the original. I was completely oblivious to the original.
It was right in that the
just switching over.
Change.
So like K-Fun and Typhoon days then.
Yeah.
It was. That's in the sort of circles it was. Yeah.
It probably still vapes well today.
Yeah. I reckon it does.
I mean, I would like to get the original Typhoon GT again, because that was my first real flavour Atty. After the Genesis ones.
The G2 I had, and I really don't miss it. I
preferred the first one, the version 1.
I remember trying to build it with silica.
I think the thoughts of nostalgia are probably better than the reality, Rick.
It's like watching.
I was using Genesis Atties before with fruit flavours, and they weren't working well with fruit flavours.
They do.
It doesn't seem like 5.5 years ago, though, does it?
No.
You know, since the whole silica cotton battle and all these, European RTAs hitting the market. And...
It was a real interesting time because we were trying out things with like cotton in Genesis atomizers. and because there was only mesh, you never would have dreamt of using cotton. You know, I remember going and buying bought a pack of cotton buds, and they said, "Oh, you should boil them and make sure they're super clean and dry them out." And I did that, you know. And
did you really do it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I just ignored it, and because I thought I smoked Benson's for 20 years, I'm all right. And
but that was before there was ever any cotton you could buy to put in atomizer.
No, I just bought some organic cotton balls. And just
went to Boots, bought some cotton balls. Yeah,
I remember with the Typhon GS, you did the
it's the small one, wasn't
wick.
it?
Yeah, you did the wick down the holes as a wicking thing, but it wasn't actually part of what you were doing, and that just seems so weird that you were rolling this mesh just to put in the holes, just to put in the.
Yeah.
And that mesh could just stay there forever as long as it didn't get.
But that was for me, that was a big leap up in flavour, jumping to a cotton build in a Typhoon to something like an RSST or a Kraken. That's what I used. I like the Krakens.
Yeah.
But it was such a big step in flavour getting into cotton on a Typhoon GT.
I remember the changing because I was doing silica builds in the K-Fun. Light, the first K-Fun, and then cotton came out, and I remember that was amazing.
It was a big flavour difference, wasn't it? It was so much better. I mean, wasn't it about a year or 2 years ago? Me and Craig were talking about it. Well, we were all talking about it on the show, and I've still got some silica wick here, and we both set up an atomizer with silica, and it was shit.
Yeah, I've still got some silica just in case it comes back.
It was awful. It wasn't a good vape. It didn't hold juice like cotton does.
That original Squake will have been competing with gennies, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely would have been 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But so there we go, 5.5 years. 5.5 years. And look at them now.
Yeah, they're still making great stuff. That was great. Making great stuff then, looking at that. Not that I knew it, but.
And that's me done. If anyone else has got any other business?
No, that was it.
What about the draw? Are you drawing a random person's name for the?
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? Okay. Yeah, we'll do it. Well, fuck it. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live, and they've got a certain amount of time to come forward before you pick someone.
Fuck it. We'll do it live. Well, I've already shut the comments off, so that's fine. Okay, hold on. You dickhead.
Can't beat leaving on a freebie.
No, fucking hell. The twats, including Brad, who commented before the fucking thing had begun. Fucking idiots. So I've got to count them out.
No, just do a random scroll and just put your finger on.
Okay. Do a random scroll, look away and go.
It doesn't get any more scientific than that. That's how I do all my giveaways.
I'm just doing it now, and
you're on Instagram now, aren't you?
They can't count that one, sorry, because I was at the top where they weren't answers. That doesn't be fair.
You just show us.
I can't read it. I can't read it. Right, I'm gonna go.
I'm on Tenterhook.
I'm gonna go for Derry Murphy.
Derry.
James Hall put scramble, and then fuck. So sadly you lost, and it went to the next person. This is Derry Murphy. It says it's a halogen light bulb.
It's a GU10 halogen light bulb.
It is, and lots of people, but there was quite a few people who put GU10.
Oh,
but
good.
Derry Murphy, you've won these two. Well, the two that are at the shop, and two and a nick shot for both. So. Yeah, Derry, send me a PM because I will definitely forget. I know he's online. I've already PM'd him.
He's around.
Well done. James Hall going, no. Bet you wish you didn't do the scrambly thing now.
Do you want to do another one? Do you want to do another draw on that? Because I've also got 2 new fused Clapton wires in.
Okay.
And I will give away a roll of each. 26 gauge cores and 24 gauge cores to whoever John picks out.
Give me a number between one
and a brand new one of these in as well. The new Caliburn.
You do a second one after then, John.
I'll do another one after that.
I'll send you a picture of me in the tub.
Rick, give me a number between 1 and 5.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Love this pod.
Fuck me.
Don't be overseas. Come on, don't be overseas.
No, it's not. Austin Green.
Hey.
Austin. Is he not overseas?
No, he's not. He's in Leicester.
Good. Austin, I think, drop me a PM anyway. I've probably got your address. Drop me a PM and I'll send you a couple of rolls of wire.
Give me a number between 1 and 5. Jimmy. I'm so sorry, Richard. Give me a number between 1 and 5.
2.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Johan. 1. He's not English.
Johan, no
He
problem.
puts it on the company. The company pays the posts. All right.
No, I don't
Johan
anymore.
K. Holstrom. 1.
Oh,
Johan, no sweat. Send me a message.
Okay. So there's 3. So we went from 1 to 3.
there we go. That's the sort of people we are.
So you went. So it is Derry, Austin, and Johan. Send those messages over, and we will send out all your gifts.
We will.
That's enough, I think.
Hi.
Yep.
I could get rid of loads of stuff doing this. I've got loads of stuff I don't want.
James said thanks to me for sending us something the other day, and I went, I never sell anything. I don't give a shit.
I don't think I've ever sold anything.
I
Actually.
can't be fucked. Just give it away. It's way easier.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much for watching. Next week is going to be amazing.
Oh, amazing!
Wait
Can't
till
even
you
tell
see,
you.
wait till you
We've
see
got
the
to keep it a
notes.
secret what's going on next
But
week.
we're only actually doing next week's show if we get, let's have a look, if we get 40 likes on this video. So I don't know if you want to see next week's show. It just looks amazing. Looking at the notes, it's going to be one of the best. If you want to see that, smash that like button and then we'll do it. But thank you very much for watching.
Thanks for watching.
We will definitely likes pending. See you next week.
See you next Thursday.
See you next Thursday.
Bye bye.
Bye.